Bang! So we're off, and this is an interesting day. There's only one Nudelberg here, but we do have somebody who we consider family. Say good morning to our friend, our client, our favorite charity, all that kind of stuff. Say hello to Laurie Sallarulo.
Good morning, everybody, and thank you. I do feel like a Nudelberg sometimes. It's just so ingrained in me.
You are, we've known each other quite a bit of time. I think everybody in the huddle kind of knows that. You've made some guest appearances before, but you bring to the party a perspective that we don't always get to hear. It is a male-dominated show. The feedback that we get is, hey, what if you don't like sports? And we go, tough shit. But today is a cool day because Kai, my grandson, just landed in Miami, his first time flying solo, which I'm so proud of. I'm 6 years old. So we just communicated through FaceTime. Mark says hello to everybody. Mark, if you're watching with Kai, good morning. So today is an interesting day. We have some topics. Laurie, do me a favor for the audience that's rolling in and doesn't know who you are. I could do an introduction, but tell us who you are, how we know, tell us the whole story.
Okay, well, the whole story would take a long time because I'm really old. But first and foremost, I am a mother, 2 children. For those of you that don't know, most people know Patrick, my oldest with Downs, and that's how I actually got into nonprofit. When I went through my divorce, I've been so involved with Patrick in Special Olympics that this just seemed like a natural fit. And for me, it was always about helping others. Even when I was a leader in the corporate world, it was about helping people grow and putting together teams. So that's kind of the crux of who I am. I'm the CEO of Junior Achievement, which most of you know, which I absolutely love. We get to help over 50,000 students a year get ready for life and for work. And we need them right now, right? Workforce development is a major issue. And of course, entrepreneurship, which will be part of our conversation today, I'm sure, and innovation. So that's a little bit about me. And I've known you for, as you said, many, many years. And it's been a great journey.
So, what's cool is that when you talk about, how you meet people and what you do, we as a company at that time, we're going to do something with 211. We took the tour. We said, okay, we're going to help you guys, whatever. But I didn't get to meet you because you had just left. And I was like, I said to the team, I go, we're sort of halfway there already. We can't say we're not going to do it. So we decided to go to breakfast. And what was supposed to be a 45 minutes, meet and greet was like, blow off my whole day. I'm like, this is good shit. So, and I will tell this, and I'll scream it at the top of my lungs that the real reason why we're friends is because of Patrick.
Of course. That's for everybody. That's the only reason people accept me is because of Patrick.
So we'll go to some wake up music, and then we're going to talk about your fascination with the C word. No, not that C word. And we'll have some fun. But we have a topic. We got storytelling. You're going to share your journey with Udonis Haslam, who is a big community leader. So, Shay, take us to some wake-up music and get this party started.
Wake up, everybody! Get up! Get up! Get up! Get up! Wake up! Come on! Come on! Wake up, everybody! Did you know me? Maybe then now listen what you have to say. Wake up, everybody! No more sleeping in there. No more about to thinking, time for thinking ahead. Come on now.
So Christian says that it looks like Laurie's ready to take Mark's spot permanently. We are taking votes today. We are. This is a show. This is an audition. So, we thoroughly believe in words and letters and ways to communicate. You have zeroed in on the C word. It's part of your upcoming book. So share a little bit about the season. Then let's pick one to focus on today.
Awesome. Yeah. So you said something about me having a fascination for not that C word, but unfortunately my ex-husband did. And so the story in the book and the title, the book has nothing to do about him, but the title of the book is The C Word, No, Not That One. And the first chapter is about going from that word to CEO. And it really is using I picked 10 of my top C words and just really inventing yourself. When you go through something difficult in life, it could be anything, right? And you fall down, sometimes we got to figure out how to get back up. And so I thought about that a lot. What got me through that time and got me to where I am today? And so many of the things that I can attribute it to began with the letter C. So that's kind of how this came to be. So but one of the 10 words that will be in the book is curiosity. And so this past weekend, I had the chance to be with Udonis Haslem from the Miami Heat. And as you know, Mike and I are really big Heat fans. And so I shared a picture, I know, with Shay, but he was on a panel on crypto, and it was at the FTX arena. And he talked about how he knew nothing about crypto, the stock market, none of that. And they were stuck in the bubble, right, during COVID. And so he wanted to learn more and more about it. He said he just really became a sponge and just asked everybody he could find about the stock market, about crypto, all of these new currencies. He reached out to Sam Bankman, who started FTX, the founder of XTX. His dad was there on Saturday. And it made me really think about that. And I'm like, wow, like he zeroed in on something, right? And just really used questions and curiosity to now he's full on blown into it. So I just thought it was kind of interesting. And so I thought, maybe we could talk about the C word, curiosity.
So for me, I love the word. It was one of the original pillars of success for me. I identified 8 things that you needed to master early in my career. And one of them was this thing that I had called insatiable curiosity. I just wanted to learn, not learn to sell, learn to know that knowledge, was a burning thing. And what I found is in most entrepreneurs, they have that seed of, I just gotta know. So they ask great questions. One of my favorites is Warren Struhl. When he would decide to get into a business, he would call up somebody that was already in the business. And I was amazed watching this. He would go, tell me everything there is to know about the popcorn business. And the person would go, sure, no problem. And just tell them everything to know. And I would be sitting there like, oh my God, it's really that easy. And so this idea that you can learn stuff goes back to, Carol Dweck's book, Mindset. You're either fixed and you go through life with blinders on and I just can't do that, or I don't know that. Or you go through a growth mindset that says, I don't know it yet. And that's what curiosity does for me. So it's been a pillar for me my whole life. It starts with asking the right questions. You can't be a great interviewer if you don't ask great questions, because that's boring. So where else do you use curiosity in your life? I mean, it shows up everywhere.
Oh, there's so many ways. I think we use it in sales, right? When you're asking questions to get to know a prospect and really get to know who they are, right? And that's absolutely asking questions. I had a great long meeting with somebody yesterday, brand new first prospect, a big foundation. And we just spent time telling each other about each other, right? Who we were, our life story, basically. And there was such a connection, right? So I think curiosity definitely and all that, I think also in our businesses, right? Innovation. as entrepreneurs, as CEOs, we need to be innovative. I mean, if you remember, Jeff Bezos wrote that letter to his team when he retired, and he said, intuition, curiosity, and the power of wondering, right? Clearly is what made Amazon so successful. I want my teams to be curious so that we can continue to innovate, right? Ask questions. How can we do it differently? All of those different things. I think getting to know your team, that's another way I've used it. I do one-on-ones, and all I do is ask questions of my team to get to know them. So I think there's so many ways that it helps you achieve greater success all around.
So fantastic. What we had a meeting yesterday, a virtual coffee with somebody who has already hired us to speak at the end of the month. And their senior director was not available, but was part of the decision making. We had a conversation, and he started telling me about the company and the history and how long he's been there, and just was, giving his information. And then my next move to him was, how much do you know about me? And he stood back and he goes, wow, what a great question. He goes, I really don't know that much about you. And I said, well, do I have permission to share about me? And the guy was like, I can't wait to work with you because you're different. It wasn't, we're the greatest, this is what we do. We solve every problem and we're never going to make a mistake. It was like, how much do you really know about me? And those are the kind of questions that great leaders ask their people. How much do you know about each other? Not about the business. Really curious. What do you do for fun? It's hilarious.
Yeah, and I mean, listen, if you're in sales, not so much from a donor end, but from a customer end, how can you solve your customers or prospective customers' problems if you're not asking questions, right? If you don't understand the problem or the need that they have, and you can only do that by asking questions, how can you solve it and be the answer, right, for it? So I think just in sales, in leadership, in managing people, curiosity to me, I was kidding. I said to you earlier, my daughter tells me I'm nosy, right? Okay, I'll own it, And it's not about being nosy. It's just about, wanting to get to know people because I love people and I love understanding. And, sometimes you don't ask the questions, you don't get to know that person and you begin to judge. Right.
Oh, wow. We could go the next 2 hours on judgment because as humans, we instantly do that, whether we believe it or not. That's, bias. And, it's, the idea that, and this is where I wanted to go as a leader, because Christian hit it on the head. Most of the time you get called in to speak to your leader one-on-one. Why haven't you hit your numbers? And it's all about the business. Well, we need to do this and you need to do that. If you ask the right questions, you generally uncover something unrelated to the business that is the obstacle to them doing great. Those questions bring that to light that says, hey, I'm having a problem at home. My kid is sick. I got other shit going on. Besides that, what can we do to help? When you uncover those are what high performing teams do. They invest in the curiosity about each other because you spend more time generally at work than you do at home. So your work family, so I love when you get into these kind of questions and find leaders who are willing to take the time, because it does take a time investment to listen and learn. And curiosity is a time thing, reading to get better it takes time. And so you got to make that.
I mean, think about it. We've been doing this for a long time. I mean, even when you think about your customers and surveys and we have volunteers and mentors, we want their feedback. But if we don't ask the questions of them, how can we get better? Right? How can we make their experience better? How can we design our volunteer program, right, so that it meets their needs as well as meets ours, right? I mean, so it's just a different way of doing it, right? Sometimes it's easier for people to ask the questions on paper because they feel intimidated or they're afraid to ask. But, we've been doing it, but I think it's so personal. I had a one-on-one with one of our team members a few weeks ago, and I said to her, tell me something that's not, I asked this in interviews too. I didn't look at your resume, but I don't really want to know what's on your resume. That's for the rest of the team to do. I want to know something that's not on your resume. Tell me who you are. And I had one with a one-on-one with one of our recent hires. She's maybe with us 3 months. And I said, what do you love to do in your spare time? She lit up. She started to talk about traveling the world. She talked about the foods and tasting different cultures and foods. And I'm like, oh my God, I love travel. And we have a common bond, right? I now have a common bond with this employee. And then my last question to her was, how can I help you? What resources do you need that you don't have? And she said, and guess what happened? She said, I'm really struggling with time management. And so what did we do? The Nudelberg came in and did a whole session on time management, because that actually was the answer from several people, right?
Which
How
I will
would
tell
I have
you,
known that?
I will tell you that was one of the most engaged group of people that I've been in front of. They absolutely were soaking it up and doing that. And so for them, so here's the interesting takeaway. As kids, you're the most curious in your life. You ask everything. Mom, Dad, tell me about that. Why? How do you do that? You ask all of those questions, and then all of a sudden you become an adult and you feel like it's not cool to ask questions. You just, how many times are you sitting in a meeting, and we just talked about this before we went live, that someone uses a word that you don't know, and you're like in your head going, I don't even know what that word means, but you keep sailing along because you're afraid to stop and say, hey, wait a minute, hello, I'm curious, what is that word? What does it mean? Because you're afraid of the backlash of what other people will say. And those other people are the ones who are going, man, I'm really glad you asked. I was curious too.
Right. So how can you become better if you don't ask those questions?
Love
right?
Love it.
So
let's
and
go
to your point of asking your competitors, right? How can you get better?
Let's go to motivational music, and then we'll come back and ask you a few more questions.
This is the moment I've been dreaming of my whole life. We got a long ride ahead, need to leave in no time. Hoping the better, 'cause I'm a fraction of myself here. Oh, running forever I'll be if there is nothing there. But I feel good about it now, I do. You brought me there, and we're so far, so good. Feel adventurous, embrace the pain. When I'm with you, that's how I do. We are gonna run the night away. Now we are one, and like you, I wanna see the world. I wanna take it out. I wanna feel the love. Yeah, I am curious. I am curious.
Cool, right?
Love it. Oh, that's got such a great beat.
Yeah, awesome stuff. So in the last couple of minutes, I wanted to zero in, and I have a list of questions that I ask people as interviews. One of those questions is very appropriate because you have taken this question and run with it and actually created a JA event. So the question is, if you, Laurie Sallarulo, were a superhero, which superhero would it be?
Oh, so funny. We just talking about this the other day. Actually, today or tomorrow is the second Girls Rule Day. We have 158 girls at Dillard High School. The last one was last week at Plantation High. We had 130, and our sponsors and facilitators. It was phenomenal, right? So, and we really the whole idea is encouraging these young girls to find their superpower and to follow it, right, and use it. To succeed. So I guess I have a couple, but I think I would have to go with my relentless passion. When I am passionate about something, just watch out, because I'm not stopping till I get there, right? And it's usually on behalf of something else. It's usually not for my benefit, because for me, it's all about making a difference. So definitely my passion. I've been told it's contagious, which I love. But sometimes it also makes me look or appear relentless, and I'm okay with that at this point in my life.
You took me right where I wanted to be. No conversation, especially on our show, would be complete without making the comparison male to female. And an aggressive male in business is hustler and spirited and all the great words. And sometimes a woman does that and they call her a bitch. So I'm curious from your perspective, because you are a relentless CEO. I love your drive. I'm thrilled to be on the board next to you. You make everybody there pick up your passion. So for all of the women out there and all the women that are going to go tell the story, how do you deal with that sort of, misguided representation?
I think, honestly, I think you just have to be able to look yourself in the mirror in the morning and know that you're being relentless for the right reason, right? If you're being relentless to be a bitch, right, then that's one thing. But if I'm relentless, which I take as tenacious, right, then, and I'm trying to get results on behalf of our children that we serve or our team or whatever it might be, or the community, you know what? I've just become, I think that comes with confidence, security, and getting results. I've had people say to me, well, what do that person thinks you're a bitch. And I'm like, well, okay, they're entitled to think that, but why? They don't really know me. Are they looking at the results I'm getting, or are they just calling me a bitch because they think I'm outspoken or opinionated or strong? Why do they think I'm a bitch? So I learned this saying when my daughter went to boarding school for 1 year, because she was going through some things. And I would go up every month because I had parent meetings, and they had a set of values. And one of the values was, if the shoe fits, wear it. If it doesn't, throw it out. So that's what I would advise every woman out there. Listen, if the shoe fits, right, then figure out if that's what you want to be. Do you want to be a bitch or you don't want to be a bitch? But if the shoe doesn't fit, get rid of it.
I think, men struggle working with or for aggressive women for some reason. And Jen Starkey, who's here, who's great, I use this story all the time. She says, there's a job posting, woman looks at it and says, I got 8 of the 10 qualifications, not a good fit for me. Guy looks at it and says, I got 5 of the 10, bullseye. So
that's true.
It's so crazy. Laurie, you are just such a treat to be across the screen from. Please promise the huddle that you'll come back and do it again.
I promise, but I promise, Mark, I'm not out for your job or your anything. So I'm here whenever you guys need me. I love bringing the woman perspective. We didn't really talk about that, the difference between men and women and curiosity, but I love being a different perspective. So anytime.
Anytime, you're welcome. We will try and make it a regular thing. The Nudelberg boys just passed in the airport. Kai coming here in Miami, and Jake leaving for his ski trip. So when I grow up, I want to be just like Jake. Jake's got it made. So
yeah,
you guys have a great day. Everybody have a great time. Reach out to Laurie. Get involved in that Girls Rule program. Really fantastic stuff you're doing. Stay on the ball, everybody.
Please don't worry about me. I'm about to let my heart speak. My friends keep telling me to leave this. So let's get down to business. Let's get down to business. Give you one more night to get this.